Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and today I'm going to be doing a versus video between the Nike KD13 and the Air Jordan 35. So the 35 is going for a hefty price of 180 bucks. The KD13 is a lot cheaper at 150 bucks. And if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I'll leave a link in the description box. And for the KD13, for only 20 bucks more, you can get the KD13 ID, which is awesome, and it's still cheaper than the Jordan 35. But anyways, let's get this versus video started with the Tracciones. And the KD13 is way more durable. All right, so I asked you guys, this is on Instagram, and I asked if the KD13 was a good performer on the indoor court and if the Jordan 35 was a good performer on the indoor court. And a lot of you guys said they're both incredible. The KD13, a lot of you guys said it was one of the best Tractions you've played in, which is very interesting, right? So as for indoor performance, I don't know because I haven't played on indoor court in either of these shoes. So sadly, I don't know that information, but I'm gonna take your word for it. You guys said they were both really, really good. So just take that with a grain of salt. But I did play with both of them on the outdoor court and they both have a really, really good bite. As for durability, the KD13 is way better. I still wouldn't say it's the best, but it's way better than the Jordan 35, right? So the Jordan 35, it's all worn down. Sadly, I'm very sad about that. So I'm probably not going to play with the Jordan 35 on the outdoor court like all too much. You know, once I'm able to play on indoor court, I will definitely play in the 35 because I love playing in the shoe. The KD13 is more durable. I do have the circles like wearing down a lot, especially here where the outline of the zoom unit is, but it's still, like I said, better than the Jordan 35. So there's that. Moving on to the heel to toe transition. So here in the heel, you got a nice rounded shape. Here in the forefoot, a nice curved shape. And in the forefoot, the KD13 is a little bit easier to flex as opposed to the Jordan 35. It still flexes a little bit, you know, but not as much. It's a lot harder than the KD13. But the heel is a little bit smoother, right? So you got this softer foam here in the Jordan 35 that compresses here in the heel and makes it feel a little bit smoother. The KD13, although you do have this rounded shape here in the heel, it's very caged. Look at all this rubber right here, right? So it feels a little bit clunkier here in the heel. I'm not saying it's terrible or anything. It's just a little minor difference there. And then like I said, the KD13 is a little bit more flexible in the forefoot as opposed to the Jordan 35, which is more stiff. The 35 feels a little bit springier, you know, because obviously when you're like running like this, you get that like spring back. So anyways, there's the heel to toe transition. Obviously it all depends on what you like and what you prefer. For me, I prefer the KD13 because I do like the softer flex here in the forefoot. As far as the cushioning setup goes, here in the KD13 you got a full length zoom stroll unit, which feels awesome. It is articulated as opposed to the LeBron 18, which is just a full length zoom unit. Here in the Jordan 35 you obviously have foam, and the foam is actually soft and it's not caged at all like the KD13. And you got a very large volume zoom unit here in the forefoot and a very large volume zoom unit here in the heel. It also feels very bouncy. I actually don't know which one I prefer. They like here in the forefoot, they both feel very similar. Like where the articulation is in the forefoot is a little bit different, but for the most part it's bouncy and you just feel very fast when you're playing in it. In the heel, I would say I like the Jordan 35 a little bit better. You got that large volume zoom unit, feels bouncy, and you got that heel compression from the foam. The KD13, you can only feel the zoom unit, you know what I'm saying? So it feels a little bit better in the heel for the 35 in my opinion. As far as the court feel goes, I would say it's around the same, and impact protection is good in both of the shoes. I would actually say the Jordan 35 is a little bit better because you got this soft foam, like I said, and that helps to compress and absorb some of that impact, as opposed to the KD13, which uses this very stiff pylon, which doesn't absorb the impact as much. So yeah, the KD13 is still good for impact protection, but the 35 is just a little bit better. So in my opinion, I actually like the Jordan 35 cushioning setup more than the KD13. I wish, like here in the heel with all this rubber cage and like all this like pylon, super stiff pylon and all that, I just wasn't a huge fan of as compared to the Jordan 35. Alright, moving on to the materials. The KD13 is using really crappy materials. It's like a textile, but like it's super flimsy. You guys hear that? It's just not nice. I mean, on foot, it's very thin, super minimal. It feels fine to me personally because, like I always say, all I need is a material that's super thin, supportive, and it like conforms to your foot very well. And that's what the KD13 does. It just, for 150 bucks, I don't think this is the best quality material. And I feel the same way with the Jordan 35. I would say, yeah, they're around the same thickness. You know, they're both very thin materials, super minimal. And they both conform to your foot very well. As far as the tongue goes, I would say the KD13 is slightly thicker, but the Jordan 35 is still pretty damn nice. And as far as the ankle padding goes, the KD13 has a good amount. The KD13 has a little bit here on top of the ankle. The Jordan 35 doesn't really have a whole lot of padding besides these really nice Achilles pillows. So I don't know, guys. Like on foot, I would just, to be honest, just tie it up. Like I said, they both feel very minimal and all that. They get the job done, super supportive, and it conforms to your foot very well. As far as the overall quality goes, I would have to lean towards the Jordan 35 a little bit. They're using pretty nice old school materials, as well as this flight wire and curing material. So the Jordan 35 is better for materials, but on foot, I would tie it up. Moving on to the fit, I went true to size and they both fit me very well. I would actually tie it up. Lengthwise, true to size is good. Widthwise, narrow. Here in the toe box, I would say the KD13 is a little bit more snug. The Jordan 35 is still very snug, but the KD13 is just, it'll choke your foot out a little bit, you know. So but other than that, they're both very similar. They're both very easy to put on as well. So yeah, for the fit, I would tie it up. If you have a wide foot, probably go up a half size, maybe even a full size. That's how snug both of these shoes are. Moving on to the support and lockdown, both of these shoes are incredible. Lateral containment, I had no issues with the KD13. You know, it's just an overall very supportive material for some reason. And also the same goes for the Jordan 35. You have the Eclipse Plate 2.0, you got the flight wire, you have the old school like nubuck material. It's just an overall very supportive shoe. So lateral containment, no issues in either of the shoes. As for lateral stability, I don't know, let's see which shoe is wider. They're around the same actually. I mean, they're both laterally stable. I had no issues with like having this type of motion when I was playing, so that's good. And then as for ankle support, I would say the Jordan 35 is better. The KD13 is a mid-cut, but you still have a good amount of ankle movement. It doesn't really restrict ankle movement that much. You just feel a little bit of something on your ankle. So you know, that's one reason why I don't like mid-cuts. It's just like, if you want ankle support, just make it a high. And if you don't want it, just make it a low. Like a mid-cut doesn't give you good ankle support, but you know, it doesn't give you full freedom like a low. You know what I'm saying? The Jordan 35, you know, it does come up a little bit higher on the ankle, like in front of the ankle, but I can't tighten the shoe all the way because of this thing. And I asked a few of you guys, you know, and you guys said this bothered you as well. I want to know down in the comment section below, if you've tried the Jordan 35, does this bother you? Does this like dig into your Achilles? I want to know, so tell us. One thing I forgot to mention though, it's just a slight difference, is that the KD13 has a little bit of an outsole curvature like a Kyrie. So that kind of helps keep you on the balls of your feet, and when you're doing like crossovers, step backs and stuff like that, you know, your feet actually do this type of movement a lot. The Jordan 35, it curves a little bit, but it's not as much, you know. So that's just a slight little difference there that I like about the KD13 a little bit more. All right, moving on to the weight. The Jordan 35 was like 12.95 ounces. The KD13 I feel like is around the same. Oh no, 12.1 ounces. That's like this, like an ounce. 12.13 ounces. Let's check all of these actually. 12.28 ounces. So yeah, like 0.8, 0.9 ounces lighter for the KD13. Does it feel lighter? It feels a little bit more minimal, I would say. I don't know, guys. Both of these shoes feel pretty damn minimal and also light. Maybe the Jordan 35 definitely feels a little bit heavier on foot, but it's not a huge difference. So yeah, I mean, when you're playing in either of these shoes, you feel very quick, you feel very light on your feet. So there's the weight there. Moving on to the ventilation, the KD13 is a little bit better. There's not a lot of airflow, but there are points in the shoe where it's literally just this really thin material, and it does wick away moisture because it is a textile material. So the KD13 feels a little bit cooler than the Jordan 35. This is a hot ass shoe. Your feet are gonna be super hot in this, so just watch out for that. As far as the aesthetics go, I would say I like the KD13 a little bit better. This shoe definitely grew on me, but the Jordan 35 is still up there. I really like how the shoe looks as well. Tell us what you guys think looks better down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, this is a tough one, guys. I really like playing in both of the shoes, but if I were to pick one to recommend to you guys, and also like a shoe that I would play in a little bit more, and that would be the KD13. So the first thing is, it's just like this heel part right here. Like I said in the review, like if I didn't tighten the laces as much, then it wouldn't be a huge issue, but I just don't like dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I could still feel it a little bit, even if I didn't tighten the laces all the way. So it was still like kind of a minor thing that, you know, I felt. The KD13, obviously I don't have that at all. The outsole is more durable. The traction is still really good. The cushioning setup is awesome with the full length zoom strobel. Even though I said I like the Jordan 35 a little bit better, the KD13 is still nice. Overall, it's lighter. The upper feels a little bit more minimal than the Jordan 35. It's just as supportive. The KD13 is still a great looking shoe, and it's $30 cheaper than the Jordan 35. So I would have to give this one to the KD13. But the Jordan 35 is still a great performer, and if you guys wanted to, you guys could definitely play in it and still get a good performance shoe out of the 35. So anyways, that about wraps up this versus video. Again, if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.